Now it was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense.
Presently, it was this narrative that guaranteed, which we realize wasn't accurate, better believe it. Definitely check this out. We don't discuss things that are gibberish. Do you feel like Puffy? Oh, you definitely. You would it be advisable for me? I figure he ought to peer out. He pays special attention to every other person, you understand. What I'm talking about in a stunning second, on a new syndicated program, we saw Mace apparently drop a few weighty clues about the long-term murmurs binds Diddy to the death of Tupac, explicitly suggesting Diddy's murmured associations with one Dwayne Key D. Davis. The diversion world is in ruckus, and we have every one of the subtleties. You see Diddy, you see Suge Knight, and afterward a ton of their associates, down there yet Tupac at Biggie of the top on the show. When the name Key D was referenced, Mace played coy, saying stand by stand by stand by stand. By where do I have any idea that name from her name sound recognizable? This not-so-blameless remark had Kohaf Cameron and comic visitor Bubba Dub in parts. Yet it wasn't all snickers as Bubba name, cunningly countered with terrible kid, mirroring the famous Diddy Bop. Cameron was left moving with giggling, yet the energy took a serious transform as the gathering dug into the bare essential of Tupac's lamentable end. Mace, continuing at his own peril, remarked with clear seriousness, I don't for even a moment intend that in no kidding way, except for how about we recollect, this isn't the principal rodeo for such cases. Mama's new implications have reinvigorated the relentless stories, connecting Diddy to Tupac's less than ideal end. No, for genuine, I don't have the foggiest idea what you're talking. Music about new charges and doubts have emerged from the shadows, projecting a recharged focus on the wild period of hip bounce history, which saw the unfavorable destructions of rap monsters Tupac Shakur in the infamous Thump IG, a snare of paranoid fears. And undisclosed insights have persevered for a really long time with the name of Sing Diddy CS, otherwise called Puffy or Puff Daddy, frequently surfacing in the midst of these hypotheses. I mean, we at last getting equity, man. You understand what I'm talking about, I supplicate. I asked Tupac. Get equity, whoever is involved, he really want. Is equity Mama's new obscure remarks on his games television show in regards to Key D's capture is the latest second that has enhanced the reverberation of these reports by basically fudging newness to K's name, an implied connect between the stepping stool and Diddy, and its supposed association with Tupac's death. Mace was not simply opening injuries from way back, he was effectively pushing them into contemporary talk with the infamous awful kid reference and the impersonation of Diddy's dance by Bubba Dub. The undercurrents turned out to be extremely clear, implying towards a possible inclusion of Diddy in Tupac's death. Maybe the air around the room thickened, conveying the heaviness of a well-established secret. For quite a long time, the group of Tupac Shakur has been sitting tight for equity. Key D, as far as it matters for him, has previously positioned himself at the focal point of this frenzy. His 2008 police admission insinuated conversations with Diddy about killing both Tupac and Shite, carrying the big shot into the eye of the tempest, despite the fact that he asserted the monetary part of the bargain was never understood. The actual notice of it was sufficient to keep the coals of scheme gleaming. Diddy's bed disavowals because of these allegations, particularly his 2016 excusal of these as garbage on the Morning Meal Club, are gone against K's disclosures and Mama's intimations, adding more layers to the unfurling account. What compels you say you lost your realm as a result of Puffy? Why you say that the conditions paving the way to Tupac's end, eminently the quarrel at the Vegas meme lodging and gambling club, additionally entwine with these paranoid notions. The story recommends that Orlando Anderson nephew Teddy fought back by shooting Tupac, following an assault apparently on the grounds that Anderson had pet a chain from a death row partner. This story, who I'll generally acknowledge, just adds to the cloudiness of uncertainty that encompasses Tupac's that end remarks from Tupac's own sibling Mopper Shaker have poured fuel onto the flares of hypothesis tending to KD's disclosures. And Diddy's indicated association NPR talked sincerely about the expected justification for his late sibling he reviewed, when taxes alerts were excused as the tirades of a neurotic craftsman, yet presently, with disclosures and conversations reviving those claims, Mim's words provide opportunity to stop and think for believed was Tupac onto something that many decided to overlook. I've seen him, and he's expressing things in these meetings that I got inquiries regarding the complexities of this story are a labyrinth of tributes, dissents, and underground chat. Resigned lap investigator Greg Kading, who has been conscious of many such records, commented on the sheer intricacy of making certain about any considerable proof, remarking explicitly on Diddy's potential job. He highlights the need of sealed-shut declaration and alerts against rushed decisions. In view of guests, I've seen the media depict me like I'm a gangsta, which is simply not the case. For sure, the pressure among Maze and Diddy is the same old thing, and we followed their connections ups and downs for a long while. The rubbing started sometime before the enigmatic remarks and intimations about Tupac's death. Their set of experiences, particularly in the domain of music freedoms and business choices, offers a brief look into the crocs in their organization. Back in the last part of the 90s and mid-2000s, Mace was one of the champion craftsmen on Diddy's Awful Kid records. Yet as years passed, Mace communicated his discontent about the treatment of his music privileges. A urgent second happened, while as per Cayman, Mace at long last recovered his distributing freedoms from Diddy. Cameron's Instagram post conveyed a feeling of triumph for Mace, proposing that he had recently completed the desk work and was currently zeroing in on setting his music back up. While Cameron utilized this valuable chance to plug his mixtape, there was an unmistakable feeling of help for Mace. This distributing fight wasn't just about cash, it was private. Maze once shed light on his experience with Diddy in a sharp Instagram post, reviewing the sparse $2,000 he got for his distributing privileges when he previously joined Awful Kid some other time. When Mace attempted to repurchase his list for $2 million, Diddy apparently got down to business. Mama's dissatisfactions were compounded when Diddy stood firm at Clive Davis' Prague Grammy Gala, calling for regard for Dark Hip Jump and Red K by Craftsman. To Mama these words rang empty. He countered, "I clearly and distinctly heard you when you said that you are presently for the Craftsman," featuring the incongruity in Diddy discourse when contrasted with his own strategic approaches. So he got to look great going into it, 'cause right now in the public's eye, he don't look that great, brother. Yet the quarrel wasn't lined to these two. When Cameron indicated an organization between his game's syndicated program and Diddy's revolt domain, Mace adopted a jugular strategy, remarking, "God, if it's not too much trouble, tell Diddy bring the portfolio, 'cause I can't trade this out for distributing." The fundamental unease anyway was overwhelming. As we dig further into this maze, one more layer uncovers itself. In spite of Plateau's dissatisfactions, he shockingly performed at the Prague Grammy Gala. Respecting Diddy, this move puzzled numerous, yet maybe it was a demonstration of the intricacy of the relationship. Mama's profession, after undeniably soar during his experience with Awful Kid Records, hang different hits and grid selections. As NPR Shaker's words remind us, the way to the fact of the matter is tangled. Also, the tale of Mama and Diddy isn't highly contrasting, yet lives in that frame of mind of dim. It's a story of ability, desire, business intuition, and individual complaints. As the years unfurl, maybe more layers will be uncovered, and the full picture will come into more keen concentration. Yet for the present, we are left with a progression of occasions, statements, and activities, each adding profundity to a generally multifaceted story. At the core of these reports and murmurs, Diddy, previously known as Puff Daddy, has reliably held a firm position on the charges associating him to the downfalls of TAC Shaker and Biggie Smalls. Without a doubt, the rap tycoon has never floundered In affirming his separation from these egregious occasions, the arrival of a questionable book by a resigned lap criminal investigator had the business talking in it. Greg Kading proposed that Diddy dispatched a Crips gangster to take out Tupac during the furious competition between Awful Kid Diversion and Death Row Records. Yet, when stood up to on the morning meal, Club Die's reaction was self-assured and unambiguous. "We don't discuss things that are babble," he proclaimed. "We don't for even a moment engage hogwash my sibling. So we're not in any event going to go there with all due regard." It's this poise, Diddy's ironclad refusal to become entangled in embarrassment, that has frequently driven pundits to contemplate, does Diddy have anything to stow away? Examining the occasions, one can't resist the urge to draw a differentiation. Suge Knight, the financier behind Death Row Records, is in jail. Legends Tupac and Big Deal are unfortunately expired, and different others included are either imprisoned or have met sad finishes. Yet in the midst of this, Diddy stays solid, as well as flourishing as a very rich person industry mogul. Yo man, nothing he's doing legit about this man, and individuals need to see it by Diddy's versatility.